Late-night exhaustion blurs the edges of the world. Tushar is running on empty, sprinting through a downpour to catch the final bus. If he misses this, he's stranded in the cold until morning. He boards just in time. The bus is a silent, fluorescent sanctuary, completely devoid of other passengers. He finds his usual corner seat, leans his head against the cold vibration of the window, and falls into a heavy, rain-slicked sleep. Tushar wakes 2 minutes later to a physical impossibility. This layout shows a single rider, but suddenly the aisles are packed. He blinks, the air clears, and the counter resets. He is alone again. There were no stops between these points. When logic breaks, the brain works to patch the holes. Tushar's internal alarm flickers, but fatigue is a stronger filter. He tells himself it's a trick of the light, a dream brought on by a feverish day. He chooses to believe the comfortable lie of his own exhaustion. He has to. Because the alternative, that 50 people appeared and disappeared in a heartbeat, is a reality he isn't ready to face. This denial is a survival instinct, but here it's a vulnerability. By convincing himself he's merely tired, Tushar remains in his seat, drifting further into the dark with something that ignores the rules of the road. The hum of the engine is joined by a new physical presence. The sharp, acrid scent of burning tobacco fills the bus, cutting through the damp smell of wet upholstery. Tushar looks to his side and finds a man who wasn't there a moment ago. He is deeply wrinkled, clutching a beedi, staring at the road ahead with eyes that seem to have seen the same pavement for 30 years. The man speaks in a low rasp, telling a story of a previous passenger who sat in this exact seat, someone who didn't belong, someone who was warned by the bus itself that they were trespassing in a place meant for the dead. Tushar turns to respond, but the seat is cold. The old man is gone, leaving only a thick, gray cloud of smoke that hangs in the air, refusing to dissipate. The walls of Tushar's logic are beginning to crumble. He is now expending every ounce of mental energy to convince himself he is having a breakdown, desperately trying to categorize these sightings as hallucinations. But the more impossible variables he encounters, the more the brain struggles to maintain the illusion of normalcy. He is reaching a tipping point where the lie of fatigue can no longer cover the truth. At 1 a.m., the haunting shifts from shadows to something far more physical. A man sits across the aisle, his face hidden behind a newspaper, seemingly oblivious to the darkness and the rain. When the paper drops, the logic of the human body fails. The man's skull is a ruin of crushed bone and wet blood, yet his expression remains eerily calm, his eyes fixed on Tushar with a terrifying, vacant intensity. Tushar's scream is cut short as the image resets. The man is suddenly whole again, smiling kindly, offering Tushar a bottle of water as if he's just a concerned stranger helping a passenger through a panic attack. The entity is whipping him between extremes, total terror and mundane comfort. By the time he registers the horror, the world snaps back to normal, leaving his mind unable to anchor itself to any version of reality. The kind man's face darkens. He tells Tushar he needs to leave, now. He stands, walks to the open door of the moving bus, and steps into the void. The sound of his body hitting the road is replaced by the deafening screech of tires and the roar of a collision that isn't happening. Tushar's brain finally surrenders. Logic is gone. There is only the primal urge to escape a space where life and death are no longer separate. He doesn't wait for the next stop. As the bus slows for a corner, Tushar lunges through the open doors, tumbling onto the wet asphalt and sprinting away until his lungs burn. He stops under a flickering streetlight, safe on the pavement, watching the bus continue its route into the heart of the storm. The rain washes away the glamour. The bus pulling away is a blackened, fire-charred skeleton, a wreckage from an accident that happened years ago, held together by nothing but memory and the dark. Through the missing windows, Tushar sees the passengers. They aren't ghosts in the traditional sense. They are the victims, sitting in their assigned seats. Their pale faces are suddenly illuminated by the lightning as they look back at the one man who escaped. These spirits are caught in a loop of their final moments, playing out their tragedy every night. The warnings he received weren't a trap, but a rare moment of lucidity from souls who remember the pain of staying on until the very end. Tushar will now spend the rest of his life questioning every shadow and every creak in the floorboards. Because now he knows that the mind's tendency to rationalize the strange isn't a gift, it's a blindfold, keeping us from seeing the wreckage we're riding in.